All right, hey guys, it's Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and I've got our episode number 5 with the Pop Report with Josh Adams at Midwest Vintage Cards, and it is Memorial Day weekend, and I want to say, without getting into too much detail, the purpose of Memorial Day is to recognize and honor those members of the armed forces who've given their life, so we can enjoy what we do. Collecting cards, not just collecting cards, but sitting in the den with our family, watching movies, and the freedoms and the liberties that we sometimes take for granted as Americans. So, special token of appreciation from my YouTube channel and from me personally. I've always been fascinated with the military, especially recently from a fitness standpoint. Josh, I like to focus on Navy SEALs and Army Rangers, and I'm just absolutely in awe. And I wish I had discovered that type of stuff earlier in my life because can't do any of those things now, but I'd like to try to be my own little pathetic version of those guys and those heroes that have fought for our country, and some of those guys have given their lives. So a special appreciation to those guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, it's a nice weekend to remember what this country's about.
That's it. Okay, so as always on the Pop Report, again, this is episode 5. If you missed episode 1, 2, 3, 4, don't stop watching this one. But when we get to the end of this one, go back and click the end screen and start over and watch 1, 2, 3, and 4. I promise we'll get a little bit better each time. We're all getting used to this format, and Josh and I are just getting to know each other and recognize that we've got tons of similarities in our approach to the hobby. We've also got tons of differences, and we've got 3 topics every week that we talk about. There's no rhyme or reason. We're always soliciting suggestions from our viewers. The 3 topics that we're going to talk about today, Josh, are topic number 1, consolidating / resetting your collection and where to go next, right? During this period of uncertainty that we're going through right now, we'll talk a little bit more detail. I've recently made a very large sale, my largest sale ever in the hobby, moved some inventory, and I'm at a crossroads, and it's not just 2 paths, it's like 40 paths, and I don't know what to do with my card money that I've got sitting here on the side ready to spend. And so I want to get some advice from you. I want to just kind of throw it out there and give you some of my options. So that's episode number 1. I'm going to get your advice, even though you're younger than me, but you're smarter than me, and you're not from Louisiana, so you're going to be able to give me some guidance on what to do. Topic number 2, the set collecting gene. Some of us have it, some of us don't. You and I absolutely have it. Is it an addiction? Is it a blessing? Is it a curse? Is it something you can acquire, or were you born with it? So we're going to talk about the set collecting gene and how set collecting in the hobby, regardless of sport, has changed over the past, let's say, 70 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then that's topic number 2. Topic number 3 is really fascinating, and this is where I think we're going to get a lot of input from viewers as far as getting their thoughts, and I think we're going to get a lot of comments on this. I think we have come to the consensus that Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron are the 3 most collectible basketball players in the hobby. And each of us, I don't touch Kobe, but I think you touch Kobe and Jordan, and maybe do you dabble at all in LeBron?
No, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. So no LeBron for you, Jordan for both of us, obviously. We've talked about that before. Kobe for you, not for me. LeBron for me, not for you. But I think we can all agree that those are the 3 most collectible players in the hobby at the moment. Again, I don't mean to disparage any other players. I'm not saying they're the 3 greatest players of all time. We're not even going to get into that argument, but I think it's generally accepted those are the 3 big dogs, right? The question is, who's number 4 today? And then the next question is, who's number 4 10 years from now, right? And we're going to talk about a list of players that can get into that Rushmore. Right now, it's a triangle, right? It's a triad at the top. It's a trinity of Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Can it become a Rushmore with 4 options? And so we're going to go through a list. Josh, you've got some guys that you have in mind. I've got some guys that I have in mind, and we'll talk about why they could and why they could never be, number 4. Or could they even crack the top 3? Who knows? We don't know. But we're going to talk about that as topic number 3 to end the show. So let's not waste any time. Let's get going. Topic number 1. And again, I don't want to rehash this. This will be the last time I talk about it. I made some drastic changes recently. I sold my 1986 Fleer PSA 10 set with the stickers, right? A lot of people heard about the Kareem sticker. I'm super excited. It sold for about what I was expecting. Some people thought it was super high. Some people thought it was way too low, whatever. It is what it is. It's gone. It's out the door. So, I sold the other every other card in my 1986 Fleer PSA 10 set except for the 2 Jordans. So I kept the 2 Jordans because, as we've talked about, I'm a Jordan collector first and foremost. I'm a set collector second, and we'll talk about that in topic number 2. So I'm sitting on a good chunk of cash, right? We're not going to get into details about how much, but it is a significant amount, and I am excited during this recent downturn that I'm going to basically be reinvesting that money into the hobby at what I think is a great buying window for certain players, certain cards, in certain eras. I want to talk about, have you ever taken a step back and reset or consolidated? I never hear you really talk about selling like in bulk or a lot. Have you ever done this? Have you ever cashed out on a huge card or even a group of cards and then just kind of taken a new mindset and tried to reattack the hobby?
So I built a 1933 Gaudi set. It took me about 10 years. No Lajoie. Lajoie is a card that Napoleon Lajoie is a Hall of Famer. It was a card that wasn't included in the set. You had to send away for it because Gaudi purposely didn't print that card so kids would buy more gum. So if you wrote a letter to this is a long story, but there's a reason for the end.
I love it.
If you wrote a letter to Gaudi Gum Company, they would send you out the Lajoie. There's, I think, 50 Lajoies or maybe even less that are out there. Heritage on their Instagram page about a week ago had a guy submit 3 of them, which is insane.
Oh, wow.
And they're beautiful.
Wow.
So anyway, I did a Gaudi set minus the Lajoie. I had the Ruths, the Garricks, there's a ton of Hall of Famers. But you can find those cards on eBay every day of the week. The Ruths are not rare. There's 4 Ruths, different colors. They're beautiful cards. I love them. But I'll probably just buy one later on. It's just, you can get it any day of the week. A couple rare Jordans came up that I wanted. I sold the entire set, was very happy with it, and bought the Jordans that I wanted. And actually, and a Frank Thomas, I'll show it to you later. And those are cards that don't pop up that often. And I was happy to do that. And I'll probably buy another Ruth, probably by the National.
The set sale, partial set sale. That's exactly mine. Mine was a partial set because I kept the Jordans, right? So partial sets. Set collecting, and we'll talk about this in topic 2. We're kind of jumping ahead. Set collecting can be extremely profitable, right? People think set collectors are like this on this island, right? Totally different from these investors who are buying low, selling high. Not the case. And I'm proof of it. You're proof of it with your 33 partial set. If you put in the work and the time and the effort and the diligence and the spreadsheet and the patience, and it took you 10 years. It took me about, 8 months to collect the 86 Fleer PSA 10 set. It was a different era, right? Even 2 years ago, it was a different world. If you can put all that work in, you can be rewarded for that work. It's almost like getting paid by the hour, right? You can earn more money because you put in the legwork that somebody else doesn't have to. So somebody else can pick those cards up, in one fell swoop. Did you sell yours individually at auction, or did you sell it as a partial set lump sum?
I sold the Ruths on my own because I knew I could. And I sold the rest through REA.
Okay. Robert Edwards.
Yeah. And I was very happy and used the money for cards that I knew I wouldn't be able to find.
Yeah.
And during the regular course. So.
And I'm curious because, I had a lot of decisions to make when I moved this 86 Fleer set. When you sold your partial set, did you, first of all, why'd you choose REA?
My friend owns them. Brian Dwyer is the owner, and I trust him implicitly with anything. So that's kind of, we talked about a couple weeks ago, estate planning stuff.
Sure.
Whenever, if anything ever happens to me, everything's going to REA. So
he's the guy. Yeah.
He's the guy.
Okay. And it's imperative to have somebody in the hobby. If you don't have that relationship with somebody that you would trust to communicate with your spouse or whoever, your kids, whoever you leave behind, go find them. Right.
I've known Brian for 15 years before he bought REA.
That's fantastic.
He's the greatest.
So did Robert Edwards list them all individually, individual auction lots, or was it one partial set lot minus the roof in that?
I believe it was a partial set lot.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Okay. And so you cashed that out. Now you're in a little different situation. When I sold my stuff last week, I don't know what I'm buying. You had 2 Jordans on target and you had a Frank Thomas on target. Yeah. And so it was almost like a quid pro quo, like out with this, in with this. Like you had something in mind. Is that what prompted you to list that and sell it?
So I was thinking about doing it for a while because I'd rather focus on cards that I couldn't find every day. Yeah. The more scarce kind of stuff. And when these Jordans popped up, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. and I gave everything to Brian at the National. I think it was 2019 actually, and they were up at the auction. His auction was in September.
Yeah.
Got money right away. Got the card by October, November. It was great.
That's fantastic. What were the two Jordans?
It was the Diamond Dimensions from a friend of ours, and then a Frank Essential Credential, and the Jordan was a Platinum Medallion.
Oh wow, yeah, that's big time. Those are some big. Those are Grail type cards, and those aren't cards like you might be able to go pick up your 33 Gaudy set again if you put enough money towards it, right? You may not get it for the price you sold it for. You may be overpaying now, but you get it. Whereas those two Jordans don't come up very often. I know Platinum Medallions don't come up very often, and when they do, it's like sharks in the water with all of our dentist friends that they're scooping it up, right? So
I told you this is the year of the lawyer, man. We're gonna make the lawyers on.
I don't know.
With the dentists.
You keep including me in that lawyer category like I'm a real lawyer like you. We've talked about this. I'm not a real lawyer like you. People like me. We're different, right? I just push paper. I'm a businessman, not a lawyer.
No one likes seeing me, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, they definitely don't like seeing you, right? Because you're a criminal attorney. So I'm certain that they do not want to pick up the phone and call you. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So we're still on topic number one. I've made my sale. I made my decision. I went with PWCC as my platform of choice. Part of the reason was all of my cards were in the PWCC vault already. I've got a relationship with some of the reps over there and some of the guys at PWCC. I am very comfortable with them. 3 of the cards were sold through the Premier auction because, we felt they had a value over $20,000. The Kareem, the Jeff Malone, the Johnny Moore, and then the other 138 cards were sold in the PWCC Weekly number 18, obviously not tomorrow, but last Sunday. And so, that money hits usually 2 weeks after. And so the money's pending and it's about to hit my account. And I've got a couple of options, right? And so as we've talked about, I'm a hybrid investor collector. I collect, I invest. I'm one of those people who does not believe that the hobby is perfectly bifurcated into one or the other. It is not that way. I know you and I are not that way. We've talked about that. Sometimes I buy cards strictly because I think I'm buying low with the ability to sell them high in the future. Sometimes I buy cards because I can't not have the cards and I don't care what it costs. And I don't care if I set a record. I just have to have the card. And that's the collector side of me. Sure. So I'm torn between those two. And what really adds fuel to the fire, Josh, is what's coming up in 8 weeks.
8 weeks. That's right. I didn't.
It might be 7 weeks, man. The national, right? My first national. And so I've got all kinds of decisions to make. How do I not spend any of this money before the national? Number one, can I be patient? Can I relax? Am I better off buying now while we have this dip? Or are cards going to be lower at the national? I don't know. I know one thing, I'm not going to walk around with 6 figures in cash at the national. I know some people do. I'm not, right? So don't grab my book sack. I'm not going to have anything in there. So I've got to be patient. Do I wait for the national? Do I move on PWCC and golden auctions now? I've got a couple of options of what to do with that money. And so I'm going to throw them out there and then just kind of get your vibe on what you think would be the best move. This is basically a therapy session where you're kind of talking me through what you would do if you were in my shoes. And we'd love to get the comments from the people that are viewing. Oh, yeah. So option number one is to finish this red PMG set, right? I'm about 75 to 80% through it. I don't have enough money to push through and finish the entire set, nor could I, because those cards are few and far between. They're very scarce. It's not a grading scarcity because I don't care what the grade is. It's a truly manufactured scarcity. There's 90 of them in the world. It could be years before you see a particular one that you're looking for. Some of the more difficult ones that are more expensive. Mitch Richmond, believe it or not, is crazy scarce and crazy expensive. The Dennis Rodman is crazy expensive. I've got a couple of really expensive ones left. I've got the Jordan, I've got the Duncan, I've got the Kobe. So I've got the 3 biggest of the bigs, right? So I'm good there. So that's one option, is to just continue pouring money into that, despite the fact that those cards have run up during a time when everything else in the hobby, not everything, but most of the stuff's coming down. So I don't know if that's what I want to do right now, pay for cards that have just spiked when I could be buying cards that have dipped. So that's option number one, Josh. Option number two, that's the set collector side of me. That is the collector side of me. Option number two is, we talked about this. I'm not giving investment advice. I don't own an 84 star 101 card. I did an episode on my show the other day talking about it, and I learned a lot about it. I put about 10 or 12 hours of research into it. If you haven't seen it, go check my Jordan content playlist and check it out on my YouTube channel, Cajun Cardboard. I need it. I got to have that card in some grade or another. I think it's a card that I need in my collection as a collector, but I also think that there's a lot of upward mobility for that card, right? So another option is just to pour it all into that card. Just multiple copies, right? I've done it before with 86 Fleer. I'm considering doing the exact same thing with the 84 Star 101, finding legit, authentic copies from friends that I know and trust at the National, preferably. Hand over money or hand over PayPal, take the cards home to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, put them in my vault. And that is boring as hell. But I like the investment aspect of it. I like the fact that it's very low risk, in my opinion, and others will disagree. But that's option number 2. What do you think about between those two options? What do you think?
I like the set collecting option better. More variety. You get a bunch of different cards you can look at, and they're shiny and cool. I think definitely, though, getting a 101 Star 101 would be on the list too, though, just because I think you're right. I think it's cheap. And who knows if PSA is going to grade them again? That's all right. You always hear that rumor every few months.
We're hearing that. Yeah, we're hearing that rumor. That is interesting to keep an eye on. And the beauty of it is I could do a little hybrid of both. I could start to trickle into those commons on the PMG Reds and not necessarily buy any whales, right?
Right.
And then also pick up an 84 Star 101. And you could also pick up a lower graded Star 101 for relatively decent little price and not break the bank.
7.5s go for $15,000.
Yeah. So instead of buying 10 or 12 of them, just buy one of them. Yeah, that is an option, right? Like most normal human beings, right? Another option, Josh, and we talked about this, and this is not going to float your boat, but I'm a LeBron collector as well. I like moving on very low pop LeBrons, not necessarily rookie cards, but potentially rookie cards. And then the options within that, sphere is I could buy a monster, a black refractor gem, maybe just a Topps Chrome refractor gem, maybe a 9.5, a 9.5 or PSA 10, something like that. The golds are probably that's going to be beyond what I'm probably looking at. I don't have that much money set aside. But I could go get one gigantic LeBron, or I could kind of diversify and buy a bunch of, $5,000 to $20,000 LeBron cards, over the course of the next few months, or wait until we get to the National. LeBron, for those of you who have not been paying attention, LeBron has dipped beyond belief. Look, I'm going to even pull it up on Card Ladder. Let's see if I can pull this up.
It makes zero sense to me. He's going to break the all-time scoring record next year.
You talk. I'm going to pull it up. Here we go.
I mean, there's cards on Instagram today that are literally a couple hours ago I saw. If I had the cash available, I'd buy them. They're cheap. They are cheap relative to, I think, what they're worth. And that he's going to, I think when we look back on him making the finals 8 years in a row, these MVPs, his body of work for has been consistent for a very long time. I think now's the time to buy LeBron James if you're an investor type that wants to buy it to
There's the number. There's the number. I got it highlighted on the screen, Josh.
That's
and
crazy.
What has he done? What has he done to come down 21.51%? What has he done to deserve that? No offense. And again, I'm Jordan over LeBron all day long, but what has he personally done? Yes, the Lakers fail miserably. Absolutely. Was it LeBron's fault? Some people say yes because he's the GM, right?
Right.
But LeBron, the player, it didn't seem to me that he failed. His PER was phenomenal. His stats, his counting stats were phenomenal. Everything about this year was pretty special. If you look at LeBron over the last year, down 13%. Over the last 6 months, down 21%. Over the last 3 months, down 25%. In the last 90 days, Josh.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Is it because he hasn't? They assume he's going to go to the finals every year. If he doesn't go to the finals, he's a failure. Which
I don't think it is. I don't think that's it. I think his cards were priced where they needed to be. I think it's a world economy issue. I think it's a disposable income issue. I think for the same reason Kobe cards have plummeted. Right? If we plug Kobe in here, I have a feeling. I haven't looked, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Kobe might even be uglier. Let's see.
I am fine with that.
Yeah, I know you're fine with that, right? And I'm with you, man. Look, let's look at the Kobe. Okay, so the Kobe's only down 4% over the last month, but over the last 6 months, he's down 16%. And over the last year, he's down 35%, Josh.
I know. I'm happy. I am very happy that his cards are dipping so I can buy stuff.
Yeah, I got the rudest comment the other day about you're overly optimistic. You're blowing smoke up people's butts, that everything is fine and buy the dip and you're not worried about anything. And I'm like, I'm worried about everything. My crypto's down. My stock's down. My cards are down like hell. The only thing that's up is the value of my house. And I've only got one of those. I'm not a real estate. I don't have a real estate portfolio, so I'm getting crushed like everybody else.
You'll lose money when you sell.
Dude, you got to be optimistic and you got to see the positive in everything. If you can't see the positive right now, if you believe in the hobby long-term, if you believe the transition to Fanatics is going to be successful and positive and grow the demand in the hobby, I don't know how many more windows we're going to have like this, Josh. I really believe that. And people can call me optimistic and naive or whatever, but that's just me, man.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you hear the rumor that Luber might be out at Fanatics?
No, I did not hear that. What happened? I have not been on social media much lately.
That's the rumor you hear on some people posting stuff, and he hasn't posted about cards in a very long time.
Interesting.
That's fine with me. I don't.
Well, we'll keep our ear to the ground. The crossover will handle, current affairs stuff.
Oh,
like
that. That's
that ain't for me, right? We'll let the crossover handle that stuff. That's not for us. We're not, we're not into that. We're into set collecting and stuff like that. So those are just a few of my options. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it is nice. And this is the first time since I've been in collecting, Josh, to where I've got the opportunity to reset, take a big breath, and just kind of, the other option is to start a whole brand new PC, which, God dang it, I really don't want to do that. Because every time I do, like, let's just throw a name out there. What if I just said, I want to be one of the biggest Sean Kemp collectors in the world, right? Number one, I'm behind. Number two, every time I buy a Sean Kemp card, I'm going to be thinking about it could be a Jordan card. We talk about that. That hurts. I don't know if I could ever do that. I think I got to stick with Jordan, Giannis, Doncic, and LeBron. I think those are my guys. Those are the four guys that I'm primary. And Shaq, of course.
That'll keep you busy.
So what I'm going to look, I'll tell you right now, what I'm probably going to end up doing is just kind of piecemeal it out. I'm buy a Shaq card, buy a Doncic card, buy a Giannis card, buy a Jordan card, buy a LeBron card. Cards that mean something. I'm not talking about loading up on more Topps Chrome LeBrons or more 86 Fleer Jordan. I'm talking about buying cards I don't own that I want to look at that I don't have. And make sure they mean something, and cards that I think will mean something 5-10 years from now. Because that's always what I'm looking at is a 5 to 10 year window is kind of what I look at when I'm deciding whether to buy a card or collect a set or not. What's it going to be worth in 5 to 10 years? All right, that's enough about me. That's just kind of throwing that out there. I am super excited. You're going to be busy at the National, so I had to ask you this question now because you're going to be, wheeling and dealing at your table at the National. So, and talking about your new auction house. So, I've got to get all the advice I can get from all the smart people now, so I can make some good decisions. But anyway, that's it for topic number one. You got anything else to add?
I would say everyone says it's so cliched, but buy what you like. If you like Jordan, buy Jordan. Buy Showcase Legacy. Showcase Legacies are, oddly enough, relatively affordable now. There are some that are going for, I think, lower than they have been in the past year or two.
Yeah. The issue with buy what you like is that I like too much.
I like the good. Yeah, right. Exactly. The problem.
I like too many Jordans, Josh, and I don't have it enough. So it's like that could be very dangerous, right?
Oh, right, for sure.
Yeah.
Buy what you kind of like then. But no,
exactly. All right, that's topic number one. Topic number two, we're going to talk about set collecting, the gene, the addiction, the drug, whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure.
You've got it. I know. I've got it.
Yeah.
Let's take turns and let's talk about. Let's start by showing some of the sets that we collect, right? We like to kind of have at least one of our 3 topics each week where we show some of our cards, not because we're looking to liquidate them and we're pumping and dumping, because
I'm not dumping.
Pretty sure nothing I'm going to show is for sale. I know nothing you're going to show is for sale because you're in the process of completing the set.
Right.
So don't shoot the messenger. We're just showing cards that we love and showing you why we collected the set and what our thoughts are on the set, maybe when we started, how long it took, how much it cost, what our exit strategy is and stuff like that. Josh, why don't you go first? And you can just show
I'm doing the 97-88 Diamond Dimension set. We've talked about this before. I just picked the Shaq up a couple weeks ago. Happy to find it on Instagram. I love these just because they're die cut, hand numbered. Some of the earliest hand numbered cards that Upper Deck has done. I've got 11 of the cards. There's 30 in the set. They're hard to find. I did bang out though the 2 big guns early. Got MJ. I think I talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
Got that from a good friend of ours in Milwaukee. Felt like my teeth got drilled afterwards. Then I found the Kobe on eBay. You can't really tell on here, but like the top has like this like crimpled kind of thing on there. And I've seen a lot of this happen on a lot of these cards. So my theory is that these were all on the same sheet.
Yeah.
They all got it, and they all just got like crunched or something happened there.
Wasn't a perfect perforation, and maybe every card on that row, all at the top, had that crimping. Yeah.
And as a side note, that's why I love uncut sheets and uncut sheet collecting, because it can show you how the cards were displayed, how the cards were printed, and why some cards are harder to find in a higher grade than others. Then I found there's a Barkley I got that from PWCC when they were still on eBay.
I've never seen that. Yeah.
Number 79. It's just one of my all-time favorite sets. And then I got a few more. Hang on. There you go. Then I got a few more just raw ones that I pick up on eBay or from Instagram, and just, it's not worth really getting.
That's graded. Set 1, Diamond Dimensions, set 1. I like that. Now tell me this before we move on to your next set or my next set, and then we'll flip on the Diamond Dimensions. You showed some BGS, you showed some PSA, you showed some raw. One of the cards was in a mag holder. A few of the cards were in, semi-rigid card saver ones, like they were on their way. Are you the type of person like me where it all has to be the same grading company, or are you're okay? So are you going to keep any of them raw, or are you going to get them all graded?
I'm going to keep them raw probably, because if it's like $30 a card to get them graded, I'm already at like 8 that are, I don't know. Probably I'll just keep them raw. It's fine with me.
Who's in the 30 card set? You said there's 30 players in there. Are there any scrubs? I mean, there's got to be some scrubs, right?
Yeah, Marcus Camby, Kerry Kittles.
Yeah.
Karl Malone.
Played against Kittles. Kittles a New Orleans kid.
I know.
Yeah, he won the state championship my senior year.
Antoine Walker, Antonio McDice. I got McDice from the Candyman.
Brother, those guys are not collectible now, but they were not. None of those names were scrubs. All of those guys were legit players.
McDice was big time when he came out. They were all huge.
Big time. Bro, Kittles could play too. Kittles could absolutely ball. Oh, yeah. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your set number 1, the Diamond Dimensions. My set, let me pull it up over here so we can check it out together. I've got it pulled up on the screen, is the Scoring Kings PSA 10 set. I think, I don't know for sure, and somebody's going to correct me in the comments, there's either just my set or there might be 2 out there in PSA 10 condition. I had the Jordan, I had the Shaq, and I had maybe 2 others, and then it came for sale from a gentleman on Facebook, and I'll never forget negotiating it and buying it, sitting in a parking lot in rural Louisiana before my daughter's high school soccer playoff game. We got the deal done while my kids were warming up on the field, and I was in the car feverishly trying to come to a number with this guy. So I had to buy the whole set from him and then sell, what I already had duplicates of. So it's one of those deals where when you're set collecting and it's a piece that's as rare as this one, you got to do what you got to do. So I ended up buying duplicates, but it was real easy to move those PSA 10s, to be quite honest with you, because there's not very many of them. So if you scroll through it, you got the Shaq as pop 12. The Jordan's a little bit higher pop card. Mm-hmm. The Barkley's pop 8. The Dumars is pop 6. The Ewing's pop 10. The Larry Johnson's 7. Karl Malone is 6. Zoe is 11.
Wow.
David Robinson's 6. And Dominique is 5. So we know one thing. There's not more than 5 sets out there, but I think it's either 1 or 2. So I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I'm a kind of a grade snob. So I have the set in 9 also, and I have tons of 8s as well, because I actually bought some raw with some stupid idea that I could send it to PSA and get it to you. Real funny. PSA punched me right in the nether region with that plan. So I ended up just buying the whole set. But I've got a bunch of 9s and 8s that I'm going to end up probably – now it's probably not a great time, but I'll probably move those at some point in the next year, just see how this market does. But that's my set number 1. All right, what do you got for set number 2? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to give you a preview. There you go.
That's all right. Before, though, I have a good driving to a parking lot story for cards if you want to hear it.
Okay.
So before I had kids, so about 12 years ago, a friend of mine collects these really old pre-war baseball cards. They're called cabinet cards. They're like 8x10 drawings of players, and they're put on the bottom of like cigar boxes. Call them cabinets, and they're made by the cigarette manufacturers like Turkey Red, Sweet Caporal, all those old time players. My friend collects the proofs, meaning like the printer's proofs of those. There's only one of each of them. There's about 210, I think, printed. But there's like Hall of Famers: Ty Cobb, Christy Mathewson, Cy Young, big hitters. So we drove out to Pennsylvania. We left Illinois at like 3 a.m. Met him at a parking lot in a McDonald's in like Western Pennsylvania with a bag of cash. Collected the money.
This is a criminal attorney story. This is a criminal attorney story. You had a bag of cash in your hand. You've done this so many times. This was nothing for you.
That is not it, but it wasn't my money, so I felt fine. But it was like a duffel bag of it was a lot of money. It was a significant. It was more money than I've ever seen in my life at that point. It was a lot.
All ones.
Exactly. All singles.
It was all bigger than that. Right.
We were literally in the parking lot for 5 minutes, looked through the cards, gave him the duffel bag. I was like, "You want to get food?" He goes, "I'll go through the drive-through." Went through the drive-through and then went back home and got home at like 10 o'clock at night or so. It was the craziest trip I've ever been on. It was so much fun.
You still have those printing plates?
My buddy, it's my friend's cards. He has them. He still does. He's offered a lot of money for them. He's keeping them. He's not.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, I tried to get him on Instagram. He's like, "No way." It's like, nah, forget it. He's old. He's like 55. He's an old timer. He doesn't do that. All right. What
you got set number 2? What do you have?
My second set is similar to Diamond Dimensions. It's the Profiles 3.
Yeah.
This is my Kevin Garnett. I like these for like the same reason that I like the Diamond Dimensions. They're die cut. It's kind of got this like Art Deco kind of look to them in terms of like the design, and there's like a little refractor type in the card, hand numbered to 100. 30, I think there's 35 in this set. Jordan and Kobe. Then there's Shaq, Keith Van Horn, Karl Malone, Glenn Robinson, who was one of the hottest guys coming out. Remember?
He's a buck, baby. Big dog.
Coming out of Purdue. He's like one of the
Big
hottest
player of the year. Yeah, big player.
Hakeem got the Dream, who I love Hakeem Olajuwon. I think he'd be a fun guy to collect.
We talked about that. You and I both agree. He's under collected more than any other player based on his accolades, I think. Yeah. He's the least collected player with the best accolades. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
It's a great player. And then there's a David Robinson, who I think also kind of under collected.
Sure, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
And Jason Kidd, who some of our friends hate him or like him, depending on.
Not for his playing, but for his coaching, right?
Right, for his coaching. That's my second set. It's similar. It's almost like a very good crossover of players in each set.
Yeah.
They're kind of the same, and that's really a nostalgia thing, because I was like 20 when those came out, and I was cracking boxes every week. I love those sets. So just from a purely, late childhood, early adulthood collecting stance, that's where I love
definitely a lot of similarities between the two. Both die cut, both printed. Serial number with the handwritten next to it. Yeah. Are they all blue for both sets?
Yeah. You can find some black. There's some black, but usually blue is highly coveted.
Yeah.
There's a black one.
Really cool.
Some of them are black, some of them are blue. The SP are mostly black. There's some blue ones, but
that's cool. That's really cool.
The Dream is black.
Well, my set number 2 is going to take us in a different direction, and this is kind of why we're talking about this, because the way that set collecting has changed over the past, I would say, decade, maybe 15 years. So, set collecting for older guys like us was traditionally, 87 Topps baseball came out. We wanted to get card number 1 through fill in the 500, whatever, right? There was no grading or any of that crap. We just get the cards, we put them in sequential order. We collected the set, we put it in a box, we got it. We got the set. Or you could buy the factory set, right? Top started doing that. Upper Deck did that. Fleer, whatever. They had the cellophane factory set. You could buy that. So that was one of every player, in the base set, and then some subset cards in there. But you would, buy the set based on the product and the year. Well, I feel set collecting has changed. It's not now. They don't even call it set collecting. They just say PC, right? Or player collecting, right? Personal player collections. So within personal player collections, you can. What they call now, modern days, the young kids, they call it rainbow chasing. I know you don't mess too much with modern Panini Prism or Select or Optic or anything like that, but they call it rainbow chasing. Well, that's just a variation of set collecting. It's just a modern way of collecting a set of cards of one individual player. And so my next set that I collect is the 2013 Prism Giannis and I am OCD, and that's why I asked you the question about your top loaders and your mags and your BGS and your PSA. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So I've got to have them in the same grading. It could be BGS or PSA, but it can't be both. And it's got to be the same grade, right, for a player. So I've got a Giannis 9.5 rookie rainbow. It's a partial rainbow, obviously. I'll never have the gold. It just sold for, I think, over 500,000. I'll probably never have the orange. I'll certainly never have any of the blacks. I think there's 2 blacks, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that, but I think there's 2. I think there's a black Pulsar, and then there's just a black. But, I've got the silver, I've got the blue auto, the regular auto, the red. There's actually a red, white, blue, and a blue, white, red, as you can see on your screen, just different orders there. A lot of people don't know that. One's a mosaic and one's a Pulsar, so a little bit different texture in the background. And then there's the light blue die cut and then the regular blue. And I'm kicking myself because the only thing that stands out is I don't have his color match green. And that damn card, I bought the card raw from Probstein, and I was going to grade it, and the picture looked amazing. And when I got it in, there was a humongous, like Al Pacino on Scarface cut right down the middle of it. Horrible. And I got it taken care of, and Probstein made it right eventually. And so I had to send the card back. I don't have the green BGS 9.5. And now that damn card, hell, I'm going to look it up for everybody. Let's just see what this card's at. 2013 Giannis Prism Green BGS 9.5. Let's see what comes up. 9,607. So that might be an option with this newfound nest egg that I've got from my 86 career set. Again, I don't like this trend, right? This is a really big mountain here. It does have some ups and downs, but it's a pretty big mountain. Over the last 6 months, even, it's up 22%. But it's one of those deals where if you believe in Giannis, it's a pop 54 in BGS 9.5. And if you believe in him, well, like I do, he's my favorite player on my favorite team, I'll probably use some of this money to go out and get that card if I can find it. There's 54 of them. So if I can find one for around 10 grand or a little bit less, I'd love to pick it up, especially if it's at the National. Nice, easy cash transaction,
That card looks cool as hell. Definitely get one.
Yeah, it's a really cool card. It's, that color match is just, there's something about that green color match. Tatum's the same way. I'm not a Tatum collector, nor am I a Tatum fan, but the Tatum green Prism, even though it's much higher pop, is something about the green color match. It's really cool. You'll see that with the Peyton and the Sean Kemps. Maybe it's just because there's not that many green teams out there. That might be part of the reason. So
I'll have to do this when IO's cards come out. I could.
Oh yeah. You'll get the red color match. Let's see, the Reds and Prism, and you don't know anything about Prism at all. So the Reds and Prism are numbered to $2.99. So it's doable.
That's easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like $4 or $5. Yeah.
I'll buy all of them then. Right there you go.
That's right.
Corner the IO market.
You need to corner that market so you can control it. All right, do you have another set?
I guess I have 2 more, right?
Let's go.
I'll do player sets.
Okay.
So I'm not as fancy as you.
Yep.
And all my cards are in hand. I should learn how to put them in a vault. So I collect Frank Thomas baseball. I mean, I know this is a basketball podcast, so I apologize for the blast.
Hey, look, well, Frank Thomas was a hell of a basketball, baseball, and football player.
Him and Bo.
He was an absolute monster. Yes.
Him and Bo. The only guy in the 90s not to juice is what I always say. But
allegedly, right? Well, of course, King Griffey. You just assumed King Griffey Jr. did.
Nah, Frank's better. I'm gonna get heat for that one.
Yeah,
I don't think Griffey did.
You're gonna get heat for that one for sure.
So this is my 98 essential credential, Frank in a 10.
Yeah.
Number to 93. The now is numbered to 9. And I never knew what the big deal was with essential credentials until I got this card, and I love this card. And now I'm trying to actually, for talking about set collecting, I'm trying to do this set, not in 10s because that's just completely insane, but 98 essential credential baseball, which is one of my favorite sets now. It's unbelievable. And what I really want is a Jordan in this. So one day.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's on our list, right?
Right, and then one of this is the first refractor, 93 finest baseball refractors.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 9, which is I'm fine with 9s. Allows me to buy a little more. These cards are great because there was one maybe in a case, and there's never was a print run announced by Topps. So the common accepted knowledge is there's about 229 of each refractor out there. And strangely enough, the Nolan Ryan is the most popular one still.
Really?
Ryan and Griffey.
93 finest refractor was the first refractor in baseball, just like basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Was there a finest football?
There is a 94. 94 was Finest Football's first refractor set. That's a cool set too. It's got Sanders, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith and Sanders are really hard to find in 10s.
Yeah. Okay.
Dion's in there. Then I have 99 PMG.
Yes.
Frank,
yes.
Which these are just I like shiny and it's really nice out of 50. I bought this from 90s Wax. I don't know if you were on Instagram at the time, but Justin did a like a virtual card show back in 2020.
Yeah.
And I saw this in his room, so I picked it up and bought it from 90s Wax. I bought this one too from him, the 98 PMG.
Championship PMG, right?
It's right, which I like this one. I actually like this one a little more because I like the sparkle, kind of how
that scope. It's that scope pattern in the background, similar to Thrill Seekers. Is it Thrill Seekers?
Yep. Right. Yes. Exactly. Right. So I love that, and I love. We talk about horizontal cards.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's got Frank post swing. Yeah, I think he has such a sweet swing, and
he's just so massive, man. He was so gigantic. He was huge.
Huge. And then and I have a bunch of others. These are the ones I really like the most. The grand finale.
The SPX, yeah.
In baseball, unlike basketball, they didn't number these.
Yeah.
So it's the it's the grand finale because it's got the hologram there, right?
That's so cool.
Yeah. So the gold doesn't have the hologram. So
yeah.
So that's my player collection. I've got about 100.
That's awesome, and that's what it's become, right? That's become, instead of collecting the entire product, you're collecting as many of a particular player, right?
Right.
The one thing that's really cool about all but one, and the Finest has a parallel as well, but every one of those cards, Jordan has the same card.
Exactly.
And they look like the basketball. That's really cool how it crosses. I love those cards like PMGs, 98 PMGs, 97 PMGs, Essential Credentials, the SPX Grand Finale. I love it when they cross sport lines, right?
Same.
And so, what a cool pairing that would be if, Brady didn't play back then, but like Barry Sanders, Jordan, Frank Thomas, stuff like that to cross sports and put them all together. Grand Finale, or PMG. It's just really cool. There's something really cool about those inserts that cross those boundaries, the sport boundaries.
For sure.
It's really cool. Okay, so I'm not going to take a long time on mine.
Right.
Mine, I'm going to pull it up here. Let's see what we got. So, no surprise, I haven't talked about my guy Ant-Man in a long time, the real Ant-Man, not Anthony Edwards. So this is my Anthony Simons Prism only, my Prism Rainbow.
Nice.
And so I've got him pulled up in my ladder, in my PWCC vault here. And this, Josh, is something that's going to be mind-blowing to you. There's like a zillion different color parallels, right? I mean, I'm scrolling and there's like, you're never seeing this one. You'll see a lot of silvers. Actually made a pretty big investment in Anthony Simons way early in the game. Buy raw, send a PSA, grade. But this is what the ultra modern, mostly young people who came into the hobby post 2016 have fallen in love with. And guys like you and me are kind of cautioning, Panini, hey, relax, man. Too many parallels makes every parallel mean less. And now all you hear anybody talk about is color match, gold, or black. I don't like that. I liked it, in 2012 when it first came out, there was 3 parallels. It was silver, gold, and green. That's it. And then there was a couple more, and then there was a couple more, and then all hell broke loose. And I don't know what Panini was chasing the dollar, But so what you've done with Frank Thomas, I've done on a much lower price point and a much smaller scale.
It's cool.
With the next Michael Jordan, Anthony Simons.
That's what I have a friend of mine who is a huge Anthony Simons.
Really?
I always make fun of him. I say Anthony, so you mean Anthony Hardaway?
Yeah, you mean Penny Hardaway, right?
Yeah, Penny, right? But I think that's just what I think those cards would be worth in a few. I'm just kidding. I'm totally. I'm totally.
This is my guy. So he had a great season, and then season ended, and the Blazers suck, and then they shut him down because they were trying to lose and get lottery balls, and so we'll see where they do. We got to figure out what they do with Lillard. If Lillard gets traded, all those cards you just saw are going to spike because that's just how the hobby is. When people get opportunities, their card values go up. So
sure.
Maybe he'll get traded for Ayo, and then the Bulls will have a chance.
No, I mean then I'd be an automatic Portland Trailblazers fan.
Yeah, immediately, right. Okay, what you got? What do you have number 4? Set number 4.
Number 4 would be, this is baseball again, so I apologize to your friends who turn in to watch basketball. Like, who's this punk?
Our friends who turn in to watch basketball. Right.
So my last set is 1948 Leaf Baseball. and I showed the page on here a couple weeks ago, so I didn't want to like recycle the same cards.
Yeah.
This is Larry Doby, is a rookie. This is just as hard as I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. This is a hard short print. There's different levels of short prints that are harder than others. There's Page, and there's like kind of everybody else, but Doby's considered one of the 5 hardest ones to find.
Yeah.
Again, just to refresh, if no one's seen other episodes, Leaf and 48 made a 98 card set of baseball to sell their gum. They also did basketball. They did football. They did boxing.
Yeah.
For baseball, the first run had Babe Ruth as the number 1 card. It was his tribute card because he died in August of that year. Joe DiMaggio. It's got Ted Williams, Honus Wagner, Jackie Robinson is in the first printing. Then they made a second printing, and they also skip numbered the cards. So like when the first printing wasn't 1 through 45, it's like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you're buying these cards. You don't like, where's card number 2? And like, we're not going to show it to you until February. So kids are buying these packs looking for these cards. They're not getting it. They're just getting a ton of gum. George Kell is a short print. So I focus only on the short prints. And George Kell was a third baseman for the Detroit Tigers, one of the best third basemen of all time. And I had the entire set. I sold the first run, the first printing, just because you can find them every day. And I'm just kind of focusing on beefing up the short prints. A couple other ones I really, really like. Hal Newhauser Rookie. It's a miscut because if you look on the back, you can see like it's got someone else's card. You see that?
Yeah, I see it at the bottom. The credits at the bottom. Yeah.
Sorry, and the top. So, which is okay. I still think these cards are amazing in color. I love the color. I love just how they pop. I love the registration's kind of funky. Like the quality control was not good on these cards.
Yeah.
Not good at all. And then who else? Kirby Higby is like a card hard to find in above a 5.
Yeah.
So I found one with really. It's like this card is considered sharp for him. Usually his eyebrows are on his on the brim of his hat.
He needs to tuck that collar in. Is what he needs to do.
Right? Exactly. I know.
In his uniform.
So I really love this set just for the color, the imagery, and just kind of like the rudimentary manufacturing of it.
Yeah. All right, my last one, and we'll wrap up topic number 2, is I do still have some 86 Fleer left. So I've just got some 86 Fleer PSA 9s pulled up, and this is kind of going back to our traditional set collecting, right? I think this is the most collectible basketball set of all time. Some people will argue it's the greatest set of all time. Some people will throw in, 2003 Chrome, 96 Chrome, 69 Tops, 57, 61 Fleer, 1980 Tops, even some people. 2018 Prism, even for some young people who don't know much about the hobby. But it is certainly, I think, the most collected set out there. Whether I think it's the best or you think it's the best or whatever people think, I think it's the most collected. So if you're interested in 86 Fleer stuff, I highly suggest you go get on Facebook and join that 1986 Fleer group. If you're ever even considering buying any 86 Fleer cards, get on there and ask around, because sometimes you can buy them on that platform, save a lot of money on taxes, shipping, price, eBay fees, all that stuff. So 86 Fleer Facebook group is one of the best groups there is on Facebook. Absolutely, certainly worth looking into. But I've got 2 PSA 9 sets and 3 PSA 8 sets. I don't have a PSA 10 set anymore, which is sad. So that's the last time we'll mention it. But that's it for that. And that's it for topic number 2. So let's move on to topic number 3. So topic number 3, and the only way we can even attack topic number 3 is if we get all of our viewers to be on the same page and agree with us. There's a big 3 when it comes to collectability in basketball. I'm not saying they're the best. I'm not saying they're the 3 you should collect. I'm simply saying these are the 3 most collected: LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, in some order. The order is probably Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, but either way, those are the 3 far and away, I think, most collected players. And if you go look at Golden Auctions and you go look at, Heritage and Robert Edwards and PWCC and all those different auction houses, when they give you a breakdown, Jeremy on Sports Card Live did an amazing breakdown the other day on his show where they do like a live and all that. And he broke it down by how many of each player were in there. I mean, Jordan is always running the show. LeBron, Kobe, and then you go from there, right? And in baseball, you got your whatever, Mantle, Griffey, there's a hierarchy, right, of collectability, not the best, but the collectability. And so those are our 3. So the question is, who could be number 4? Who is number 4 right now? If you had to guess right now in the basketball card collecting hobby, the player you see the most on, social media, Instagram, going all the way back to 48 Mikan, which it's not Mikan, all the way to 2021 and this rookie class that we just had. Who do you think is the next most collected player in the hobby?
So based on, I think, empirical evidence of social media, it's got to be like Luka or Giannis, right? Giannis.
Or Curry.
I mean, I think it's Shaq, but I think based on just, in terms of recency and primacy and, Luka's playing now, right? And Giannis is playing now, but so they're very collectible because people always want their cards. But I think Shaq is in the conversation. I think he's still, one of the all-time greats. I think people debate that he's a better Laker than Kobe. Yeah. So, I don't agree with that, but
and that's why this is an interesting topic, because you're not coming on here saying Shaq's the greatest center of all time.
Right.
And I'm not either. I collect him, but I'm not going to tell you that I think Shaq's the greatest center of all time statistically, or based on resume and based on achievements against his peers. But I don't have Shaq in my top 10 as far as most collected. Should he be? Sure, he should be, but I don't have him in there. And that's what's fascinating about this topic is, the player who gets on, the Rushmore as the number 4 player doesn't necessarily need to be the 4th greatest player of all time. If it was, it would be Kareem or Wilt, right? Or Bird or Magic, right? I mean, we can kind of agree on that. And most of those, I think all 4 of those guys would supplant Kobe, as far as the hierarchy of achievements. But collectability, there's more to it. Number one, you're right. You mentioned a recency bias, right? Yeah. Think how many people, I think we underestimate, Josh, how many people came into this hobby around Luka's rookie year.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why. And so when they come into the hobby, right, these are new collectors. They come in, or investors, or whatever you want to call them. They come in the hobby and they buy what they know and what they learn. And the first thing they learn is 2018 Prism. And it takes time and effort and energy to go learn Shaq 1997 PMG. What's a PMG? I know what a prism is. I know there's a bunch of different colors. I can look at a serial number and I can figure out a value, right? And so that's why, Doncic has kind of got an advantage even over Giannis, who's got significantly more accomplishments than Doncic.
Right.
Both players certainly have the potential to be top 15 players of all time. A lot of people think Giannis is already pushing through, right? I'm not there yet, but certainly he's got a lot of meat left on the bone to put some stuff on paper, some more accomplishments, and continue doing what he's doing. But for a Middleton injury, who knows? We could be talking about him, running it back to back. That's a big deal, historically. I think right now, I think it's Curry from what I've seen, and part of that is the recent fall off of Kevin Durant. Right. I think Durant might have been right there with Curry, but I think recently, people are a little bit sour on Durant. His cards have come down. His cards have come significantly down, and I don't collect Durant or Curry. I own one Curry card, and I might own one Durant card. Like, I literally don't collect them. They're part of a set.
Curry's got a really cool rookie card. It looks like the 48.
Yeah, the Bowman, 48 Bowman throwback thing. Yeah.
And it's numbered. I love the throwback cards. The throwback cards are so cool.
Yeah.
There's one that's numbered to 1948 that he's got.
Yeah, that Bowman throwback thing or flashback. I think it's called flashback or something. Is
that what it's called? I would love one of those. I think those are cool. Those are cool. But
they are cool. I think it's Curry. I think it's Curry right now. And again, I have no dog in this hunt because it doesn't matter to me. But I've ig list of some other names, right? So we've talked about Curry, Giannis, and Doncic. I think those are probably and we'll put Durant just in that mix. I think after the big three that we mentioned, I think those are the next most collected. I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying they are based on what I see and what I perceive and the scuttlebutt and what's talked about in the hobby and this and that and just following their careers. Those 3 guys. Curry is furthest along in his career, but he's also the most accomplished of those 4 guys that we just named, in my opinion. And so for that reason, I give Curry, and the reason we're bringing this topic up is because we want to know in 8 years, right, after all those guys have pushed towards the end of their career and or retired, some of them will have been retired, where do they stand? Who is going to be 4th on that list? Who's going to sneak into Rushmore 8 years from now? The answer, Josh, might be nobody. Maybe none of these guys sniff Kobe. I don't know. Right now, Curry is the furthest along and the most accomplished. And we talked about this before we came on air. I think part of the allure of collecting Steph Curry is he's like us. Like he looks like us, right? He's 6'3", 195, just like me. He, is not more. I was more athletic than Steph Curry, or every bit as athletic as Steph Curry. He just happens to be the greatest shooter that ever lived, right? And a basketball genius and an incredible ball handler. But he looks like us. He's not like Shaq, right? Shaq is foreign to people like us. That pulls some people in, right? And that's why Wilt's one of my favorite players. He pulls me in. The Paul Bunyan shit, that type of stuff. Wilt, handing bags at Cushers up to the second floor window because he, his reach is 12 feet or whatever.
Right.
Those kind of things fascinate me. Wilt, high jump national champion, racquetball world champion, volleyball, professional volleyball player, actor, bodybuilder. Those things fascinate me. But some people have a sense of identity with the common dude, the normal person, which is why Trae Young got so much hype coming out of the gate. People love Trae Young. They love his swag. They love the fact that they're the same size as him. And so they identify with him. But obviously, you like giant, larger than life guys. If you collect Frank Thomas, right? Frank Thomas was an absolute man mountain, exceptional, rare, McGuire, Frank Thomas, giant guys like that. So I think Curry's got a leg up. I think after that, I think Giannis and Doncic are neck and neck. I just worry. I don't know if Durant can overcome that move. People treat his rings. They don't give it the same weight, man. They just don't. I don't know what to say. But it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to cut against Curry's ring. The rings that he won with Durant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's weird, right? Why would?
Yeah, Curry wasn't the MVP of the finals, and I'll be honest with you, it was Durant that went and destroyed LeBron. Right? Durant took that thing from LeBron, not Curry. I wonder why. I wonder why Durant's rings are tainted, because he left OKC to go get them, but Curry's 2 rings with Durant are not. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good question.
I don't know. And then Doncic, it's just so early. I know some of these people are so short-sighted, like, oh, he's never going to win. He's never going to win in Dallas. He doesn't have good teammates. Did you not watch the first 8 years of Jordan's career? He was playing with Brad Sellers and his accountant. Yeah, he was playing with his security guard, his accountant, Brad Sellers, and Joe Klein or something like that. And so people think Jordan's never going to win. Nobody who's a me first player is ever going to win. You got to be more like Magic, less like Jordan, more like Magic. Well, it turned out okay for Jordan. So everybody needs to pump the brakes here on Doncic. He's doing everything he can. 3 first team, he'll get first. I think he just got first team All-NBA. 3 first team All-NBAs, and I think he's either 23 or 24. I can't remember.
It's amazing.
That's not normal. So everybody needs to chill with him. The issue with Doncic is, he's super collectible because there's a trillion options, but the question value becomes there's a trillion options, right? That's different. That's different than Shaq. That's different than Jordan. That's different from these late 90s guys. It's even more pronounced than LeBron, who had a hellacious number of rookie cards printed for himself. There's just too many Doncic cards, I wonder if that helps or hurts.
There's so many different companies to make them, right? You got like National Treasures, you got the other, I don't even know what they're called, but you got like different RPAs.
I forget. You don't know anything. You know as much about this as those cards that just put me to sleep from 1948 Bowman. That's how much you know about Prism and Parallels and all. I forget. I'm sorry. I've got to lead you along.
Yeah, I just see people post his cards, like the same couple Prism cards on eBay and on Instagram all the time. But he's popular, right? So people like him.
Multiple parallels can lead to making a player extremely collectible, but it could also detract from their value long term because there's going to be a lot of uncertainty about, there's just so many. Which one really means something? We know the NTRPA will mean something. We know his gold, his black 101, whatever, his nebula. But I don't know. Blue ice seems to mean something because it's a color match, but does green pulsar, is that going to mean something? I don't know. It's numbered to 8, but there's like 50,000 other numbered cards for Doncic's rookie year. So I don't know if that makes him more collectible. It definitely reduces the price point, I think. So just some other names. We haven't mentioned it yet. We got to mention it, or our friend's going to call in the hotline and complain. Jokic, right? Obviously, Jokic is going to be a 2-time MVP. You've heard of him. He plays for
yeah. The guy from don't tell me. He plays for Denver.
Stop.
Denver, right?
Two-time MVP, yes. He plays for Denver, yes.
It's
So
accessible,
Jokic, give him some time, right? He's not an old guy. He's a super young guy as well. It's just he's, sloppy and, slithers up and down the court and just, gets by on his tremendous IQ and an incredible skill, incredible player. The question is he going to appeal to enough collectors? Big man, he's got the big man bias that Shaq deals with.
Right.
So Jokic is definitely in the conversation. And then you got your young bucks, right? You got John Morant, who's going to check a lot of the boxes like LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan do, as far as just in Vince Carter, for instance, just doing shit nobody's ever seen, right? He does stuff. There's something about a player who does something and you're like, oh, and you watch the bench react when he does something. Even the other team's bench is like, what the hell did I just see? You don't really see that from Tatum. You don't really see that from, Jokic, to be quite honest with you. It may be some ball fakes and passes and stuff like that, but Morant's got that advantage, right? That eye-popping, just insanity like Vince Carter had. Tatum is another guy, right there on the cusp. Let's see what happens the next couple of weeks. Let's see what happens tonight. That's why we're filming this early. Donovan Mitchell, he's in Utah. It's just tough. You got to overcome it. I mean, 2 of the top 25 players of all time played in Utah, and nobody gives a damn and collects their cards. Right. And it's sad, right? With Stockton and Malone, it's just sad, but it matters. That market matters, or at least it did in that era. Then you got Zion, Ball, and Edwards. Those are guys. It's just so early. There's just no way, right? Zion obviously checks all the boxes that Morant checks, which is what the hell did I just see, right?
Right.
And then LaMelo Ball's got that magic-like quality.
LaMelo
right?
Ball. I thought you were talking about Lonzo Ball.
You know damn well I'm not talking about Chicago Bulls Lonzo Ball. You know damn well I'm not talking about Lonzo Ball. I'm talking about his big brother. He's
right.
6'7", right? And plays the same position.
Right.
Lonzo is great, and Lonzo did matter. I think Lonzo changes that team a lot next year. I think a healthy Lonzo for a full season changes that team.
For sure.
They do have a glut of guards back there. They're going to have to move some people. I know you know that as a Bulls fan. They have too many good guards. It's too many good ones, right?
Right.
Caruso, Ayo is going to be a player. Kobe White can play. I mean, Kobe White's going to be able to – imagine how much Kobe White would help the Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of like a young Rozier kind of player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But struggled to get time and then find his way with the Bulls. But Zion, Ball, and Edwards, Edwards, a lot of people are comparing Edwards to, Jordan. Totally different. He's more of a – what's a good example of him? He's more of a bull in a china shop, but, his outside shooting's progressed a lot quicker than people thought. He is picking up parts of the game a lot quicker than people thought, specifically on the offensive end. And he certainly checks the what the hell did I just see box, when it comes to watching him play. Timberwolves versus Grizzlies or Timberwolves versus Pelicans next year would be the number one game on my list that I would want to watch. I'll be quite honest with you. Timberwolves versus Pelicans would be the game I would most want to watch on opening night. And I know I'm weird about that, but you never know what you're going to see with those guys, especially with the new Pelicans.
Morant's fun to watch. I watched him in that Golden State series. He's a lot of fun before he got hurt. He's a lot of fun to watch.
What would it take to get you to start collecting an ultra modern prospect? You can't do it. Is it the education barrier? Is it the barrier to entry that you don't know what the hell's going on with products and parallels and all that?
It's a little bit of that. I have no clue what any of this stuff is. But also, like what you said before, I could be buying a Jordan or a Kobe with that money.
I know it's hard. It's hard. And the only reason I did it, flashback to this Anthony Simons insanity, it's like pennies. I mean, it was like silvers were $4 back then. Now you want to buy a LaMelo Ball, you pay $10,000 for a LaMelo Ball card?
Get out of here. No, it's not. Are you serious?
Brother, they get LaMelo Ball cards that sold for 6 figures.
That's insane to me. That's crazy.
Are you not? Do you not? You are in the same hobby as me. You don't look at anything in the auctions except Jordan and Frank Thomas. This is what I'm getting at. 48 Bowman. Or Leaf, I'm sorry. Leaf.
40. I got Jordan, Kobe, 48 Leaf, Frank Thomas.
Tunnel vision.
My brain cannot handle anything else.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. I'm also looking at other stuff now because we're on this show together. I should know what you're talking about.
It would help. It would help if I had a co-host. It would really help. And the subscribers, the viewers would really appreciate it. If I'm here talking about exciting shit like pink, zebra, pulsar, parallels, and then you bring on these snoozer Newhauser guys from 1948, who you just told me George Kell was one of the greatest third basemen of all time. I never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Okay, that's the title of this episode is Pink Zebra Pulsar.
Okay.
That should be the title.
Yeah. If a player doesn't have some kind of animal print card, I don't want to know anything about him. It's not worth collecting, right? It's not even collectible. That's a good place to end on it on pink Pulsar Zebras. So we're at the hour and 4-minute mark. I did want to finish in time to watch this Game 7, even though I don't like either one of these teams. They've both beaten the Bucks recently, so I hate them both.
What do you like? Who's going to win tonight?
I'm looking at my screen. I got 14 screens in my office. I feel like I'm at a sports bar. But it says Tyler Hero is warming up with the intention to play. He's got a groin injury. He's got to be 100%. I see him taking jumpers. He's got to be 100%. And then, man, I tell you what, people are doubting Jimmy Butler. Here's a stat for you. I looked at the auction sale. The card letter headlines came in, and there was 2 cards that stood out to me. There was the Jason Tatum National Treasures RPA numbered to 99 PSA 10 that sold for $80,000. And then the same card letter headline, the Jimmy Butler National Treasures RPA numbered to 199, so twice as many. And I think it was BGS 9.5, right? Guess how much that sold for?
Oh, $2,700.
$4,500.
That's crazy.
What is that? 1/18th? That's quick Cajun math. Something like that. Almost 1/20th. Something like that.
10%.
Listen, Jason Tatum is not 20 times the player that Jimmy Butler is. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care how many more years he's got ahead of him. He should not be 18x Jimmy Butler's rookie card.
No.
I'm not buying that.
I'm rooting for Miami only because I like Jimmy Butler as a former Bull, and I wish they never got rid of him.
Yeah, and you know what? There's some Sixers fans who wish they had never got rid of him either.
That's right. That's who
Jimmy Butler straight up call him out. He's like, "You wanted this Tobias Harris dude instead of me? Yeah. That's who you wanted instead of me?" Yeah. I like Jimmy Butler, man.
Me too.
I like him.
His knee
anyway, that's it. Let's fill it. That's episode number 5. Josh, thanks for joining me, man. Good episode. Go grab your kids and let them watch Game 5, and maybe they can teach you something. They play NBA 2K, so maybe they can teach you something about ultra modern NBA basketball.
Well,
non-Bulls basketball.
I'll do my research for next week. You got it.
Deal. All right, we're gonna have to weed out some of this baseball. I'm already getting comments of people falling asleep. So
mean they hate me. Mean comment. Turn the comments off. So
I need to turn the comments off, right, for the baseball section. Cool.
Thanks.
All right, Josh, you have a good Sunday. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. Bye.
See you, bud.